right, welcome to another SEO Hangout with Josh Bashinsky. I am the aforementioned Josh Bashinsky. If you've never seen my show before, my show is the show that shows you what you need to do with SEO. We are the finest SEO show on the YouTubes. Today I'm doing a free site clinic for those folks who are watching. So if you know someone who needs a free site clinic, get them in here. I'm going to be doing my best kind of audit I can do from a 10,000 foot view, looking at kind of what you're doing wrong in SEO. I'm going to provide as much free advice as I can. I'm going to take this from the perspective of science. I have a mentorship group that is based completely in science. You're looking at the results right now, flashing on your screen, of the kinds of results that students get in the mentorship group. And the reason why we're able to get these results is because we use science as the basis for all of our determination of all of our recommendations for what you should do for SEO. So I repeat, we're using scientific tests, single variable, isolated variable, and we can account for every variable kind of tests to base our recommendations on for the most part. They're not based on our opinion. They're not based off of what a fortune teller told me. They're not based on what the common opinion is. They're not based on what Google is saying. They're, for the most part, based on science. And so you can trust our recommendations more than you can trust other shows, for example. So today I'd like to get to some new things that are going on in SEO. Tomorrow I'm doing my SEO 101 course for my mentorship group, so that's why I'm doing a little sneaky special presentation today. If you have any SEO questions at all, please ask them on the top right-hand side. You should see the chat there, or you can ask them down in the comments below. If you have any sites you want me to take a look at, start putting them in the chat there, guys. First come, first serve. I definitely won't be able to take a look at all of them. So put some asterisks beside it to make sure I can see it. So please put your sites in there that I can take a look at, and I'll take a look at as much SEO stuff that I can. In terms of new stuff, we still have kinds of issues. Let me know how the audio is as well, if there's any audio problems. In terms of new stuff, we still have this Florida update that's been percolating out. Google's been doing some very interesting things around fetching. There's not a lot I can share here. It's top secret. Just keep in mind, you definitely shouldn't be trying to fetch pages a lot. You definitely don't want to fetch, a page 5 or 6 times. That tends to show bad results. Google is doing something very interesting in terms of this regard. So they're changing a lot of different stuff for Florida. Both people are seeing that links are now being prioritized, but I'm seeing other stuffs are being prioritized as well. So keep that in mind. Park should take a drink. So like I said, today I'm going to do a free site clinic. So get your sites into the chat there, guys. And let me know what I could take a look at. If you have any SEO questions, put them in there and ask the SEO questions. I'll talk a little bit more about science. So some people ask, what's the difference between single variable testing and multivariable testing? I see that happen a lot in the various forums that talk about science. They say that Google is a multivariate system. That's simply not true, and they don't have any evidence to say that. Let me tell you what the difference is. And in fact, I will open up a whiteboard here and I will draw. I will draw for you. There we go. I will turn on display capture. Boom. You now see the display capture. You now see everything that's going on in display capture. So, let me draw something. So a single variable system is an aggregate system. Single variable is an aggregate system. A multivariable is a times system. So for example, if you have one factor, you get +1. You have another factor, you get +2. If you have another factor, you get +3. That's what's considered a single variable or aggregate system. If you have a multivariable system, if you put in a ranking factor, you get times 0.5. You put on another ranking factor, you get times 0.1 bonuses. As to say a 10% bonus or a 50% bonus. And that all relates on, if you put another magic factor that works with this factor, then you get a times something bonus, like a whatever, a 2% bonus or whatever it is. And they say that there's a secret between these factors that you need to add them. Here's the problem with that kind of thinking. One, it's not supported by science. I've done over 250 single variable tests, and I can assure you that that's not how it works. I've never had that kind of a response from Google. It's always a +1, +2 kind of system. The more factors you add, the higher you rank because they add up. It's like adding helium balloons to weights. The more helium balloons you add, the higher it goes. It doesn't strangely multiply. It does. I mean, if you talk about math, it multiplies the ranking power. But you can count, like you take a balloon away, it goes down. You put a balloon on, it goes up. There's no 2 balloons you need to add to make it go up. It never works like that. 1, in single variable testing. So I have some scientific knowledge to disprove that theory. 2, Google says it doesn't. Google is specifically, John Mueller has specifically come on the record to say that multivariable testing is not actually how it works. So if you have, so you can't always trust what Google is saying, but quite frankly, you can't always trust what they're saying, but quite frankly, that's a good instance right there to believe what it is they're talking about. There's no reason to disbelieve John Mueller when he says that. I don't think there's any ranking factors he's trying to save when he says that. So I have 2 pretty good pieces of evidence to suggest that it's not a multivariable system. Those people who believe it's a multivariable system just haven't done as much single variable testing. And that's the kind of statement you need to test. And the third reason why we don't believe that's the case is because whatever we test in single variable testing, it always plays out in the real world. You're looking at the proof right now, scrolling by. All these examples you see scrolling by of all the sites going up, that's real world testing. That's not our tests. That's not our test results we're showing there. That's our real world actual sites that are ranking higher from my clients, from my students, and from my own sites personally. So we see a parity between the single variable tests and the real world. And if the real world was multivariable, you wouldn't see that parity, right? We do a single variable test and it would work. I don't know why it would work in a test SERP. If it's a multivariable world, our test should never work, actually. Like, think about it. Like, let's say we thought that the meta tag, keywords tag, was a ranking factor, but it only works in conjunction with section tag for some reason. Well, that would work in single variable testing, or that would work in the real world, right? And so if we found that's the case in single variable testing, it would still work in the real world, but that's not what we find the case. We find that, yeah, this tag is a ranking factor on its own, and we find that this other tag is a ranking factor on its own. You add both of them, you get even more of a ranking boost from that. So multivariable is just not the way it works. Single variable is the way that it works. Aggregate ranking, adding balloons to your pages, brings them higher. The more balloons you add, the higher you're going to rank. And it's just that you're being outranked by other people because they have more balloons and bigger balloons, and they have better kinds of ranking factors, so to speak. That's the bigger balloons, right? And so the more balloons you add, the higher you're going to rank. You just need to know what the balloons are. You just need to know what the ranking factors are. And so you've got to add the ranking factors. How do you find out what the ranking factors are? You need to do the single variable testing, or you need to get in a group that does the single variable testing. We've done over 200, at this point, 250, around there. And so we have, our ranking methods are entirely different, 100% different than everybody else of what they're talking about. We're light years ahead of what everybody else is talking about. And again, I'm not trying to brag. I just want to indicate to you that when you take you can do the science yourself. When you take a scientific approach and you methodically test things, I shouldn't have to pitch this so hard, right? That's how the world works. That's how cars drive. That's how buildings are built. That's how you're watching me on technology right now that was built from science. We have Chase Reiner here. How you doing, Chase? He's got balloons. Fantastic. It's through the single variable testing of isolating the factors, and that's how things get better, right? So I don't know why I have to pitch that so hard usually. It's like I mentioned multivariable testing and Chase appears. He's like the candy man. if you say multivariable test too many times, he shows up. Let's see who else I can conjure. What else could I say? So anyway, guys, I'm doing a free site clinic today. If you have any sites you want me to look at, put them in the chat. If you have any SEO questions at all, go ahead, put them in the chat. Chase, if you want to debate with me, I don't know why you're here. If you just want to hang out, go ahead, put your comments in the chat. Or I don't know how. I could probably add you to this somehow. This is on OBS. This is not through Google. I could add you to this somehow if you wanted to come and debate. I don't care. That'll be a fun thing to do, as long as we keep it civil, which everyone knows I can stay civil. Mike says, Chase is here to show Josh how to build links to rank. Great. I'd love to see his examples. I'd love to see how to build links to rank. I think Mike is being cheeky, however, because I do recall Chase saying in the past you don't need links to rank, so that was probably sarcastic, but I don't know. I'm getting too old to notice what's sarcastic or not. I'll gladly add Chase if he wants to join. The problem is here that I'm on OBS. I'm not on Google Hangouts. I don't know. It's not easy just to get him in here. I'd have to Skype with him or start up a Google Hangout. So Chase says he's here to show support. Thank you very much, Chase. So I see Javizga. I can never pronounce the name because I don't understand what it means. Has added a site here, Coffee Supremacy, and I'm going to take a look at this and show you kind of what I see when I take a look. So let me go back here into OBS. Add your sites, guys, and I will take a look at that and let you know what I think. So, don't need this, don't need that. Okay. All right, so let's add this site here. So, go ahead and say in the chat kind of a little bit about more what you're trying to achieve with your site. What kind of site you have here. Is this site is this more of a, not just another coffee blog? So this obviously looks to me like it's some kind of affiliate play. If I go down here, do I see affiliate links? Where are the links? Are you an affiliate? Oh, here they are. Yes, an Amazon affiliate. Yes, here we go. So here's an Amazon affiliate play. The design is I like the way this looks personally, but okay, here's the problem. So the first problem is I see a big space here on the right-hand side. It's just a little design thing. It's not such a big issue. You guys can see this, correct? Yes, you can see it. Okay, good. Okay, and again, if there's any audio problems, let me know. Because I'm not listening. I don't have my headphones in. Okay, so here's a standard kind of advertorial affiliate play here. I like how the social buttons move along with the scroll. That's really good for a number of reasons. I like that even better for conversions. If you scientific tests show that if you have the converting buttons floating with the user, they get used much more often, like 60% more often at least. If not quite higher in some cases. But you're not using it for converting, you're using it for a micro conversion or to share. And quite frankly, nobody shares pages. Nobody cares. I've never found an affiliate advertorial page which is so good that anybody of their own volition decided to share it. So this is kind of a missed opportunity here. This is not kind of what you want to do. I would rather have the affiliate Amazon links floating here so you could always see them. The other problem is your Amazon affiliate links are way down here. Now this says ads by Amazon. I don't know if this is your affiliate links or not. I need to take a look here if you said anything in the chat. So give me more information about your site, what you're trying to do, what your main keywords are, what your main pages you're trying to rank for it. So I can add some more questions. I don't know if this is some weird Amazon ads thing that I'm not aware of, or if this is just your affiliate links. But either way, it looks to me like this is how you're trying to monetize. So you're talking about it. Again, you have a buy now button. I'm presuming this is some form of affiliate play or some kind of ad play. Now, so here's a problem. Most of the things you want them to click, either way, you want them to click this bar, and it's way down at the bottom. I'd like to know, when you're looking at your Hotjar or your Crazy Egg, how many people actually scroll down here to see that? The problem with this model is that if people are not really interested, they're not going to read this low, and no one's going to click your links. I'd like to know how many people actually do that. Here's the other thing here. I don't know what your main keyword is. Your title says Keurig or Keurig 2.0. Which one to choose? The question is now, you're kind of wasting space in your title, and you're wasting space. I don't know if you guys can see that because my head's probably in the way. But if I move this over here, you're kind of wasting space in your title, and you're wasting space in the URL. So I don't know what your keywords are, what you're trying to rank. If you're trying to rank for Keurig 1.0 or 2.0, one, you don't have a point. Two, I don't think those are very good keywords to rank for. So I think, again, it's another missed opportunity. So Ryan adds another site. Fantastic. I'll take a look at that one in a second. Go ahead, add your sites, guys. Add your questions. Let me know what you want me to take a look at. Give me more information if you want. I could run a Quora report for this. I could check different things out. Let's see what the speed is on this sucker, because speed, of course, is very important for rankings. Google has admitted so ever since July of last year, I believe it was. Yeah. And of course, this is not what I would do for an audit. This is just a quickie little check. The quickie little check is as good as briefly talking to a GP, a general practitioner doctor, in a line in a shopping market. It's nowhere near as good as a full round of testing. So it's not to be considered. This is the in-depth audit. This is just quickly what I can take a look at and do. If I check some other stuff here, for example, how well are you indexed? So I've noticed this today. This is very interesting. The info : query today has not been functioning. Has anyone else noticed this? This is not, so this is kind of a big deal, actually. This is not how the info : query is supposed to operate. Any other seasoned SEOs in here? Like Chase, for example, have you noticed today that this info : query is not working properly? Now, I don't know if this is actually, that is the proper URL there. Yes, it is. Right, this is the same page. I believe it is. Yeah. It's hiding your information here as well. But info : query used to only give this information here. It didn't also include all this down here. So that's a different behavior today. I've noticed that a number of times. If anybody else has noticed that today, let me know. I don't know what Google is doing. I don't know why they would change that. But you better be number one. Like if I search info : query for a particular URL and you don't show up number one, that is a huge indexing problem. It used to be that it showed a blank. That was a huge indexing problem. That meant that you were either discovered, crawled, but not indexed. And you can fail on both things. You can be discovered, but not indexed, and you can be indexed, you can be discovered, but not crawled, and you can be crawled, but not indexed. So that's a big problem. So I'm saying, anyway, if that was showing up, that'd be a big problem. You show up number one here, and although this is a new behavior from Google, I don't think that this is an issue. This is just a new behavior from Google. They normally wouldn't show all this junk under here for an info : query. And now they're giving related searches as well. Interesting. I wonder if that's similar to when you do a related : query. Do they still have it? No, they're not even doing that anymore. That's weird. It used to be a related : I think. I haven't used it in a while because it's such an old feature from Google. But anyway, interesting thing that's going on there. Okay. So like I said, get your questions into the chat there, guys. Get your sites in there. I will take a look. So if we're taking a look at the speed here, if we're taking a look at the speed, this speed is no good. So the first byte time looks pretty high. There could be scientific reasons why I'm mentioning this. The start render is kind of high. And look at all the pings that get added, all the JS that's getting added here. This is the problem with using a default template, a WordPress template, is that WordPress templates are shit for speed. WordPress templates are terrible for speed. They're super, super slow. This is kind of why you need to know CSS and JS and HTML so you can edit it and change it yourself. Also, I see you got a 404 in here. You're wasting time. Also, I see in here you're downloading fonts from Google. That's another big thing that can slow you down. So not only did Google say you want to have the quickest speed, I'm showing this because for a reason, obviously. So, you want to make this as fast as possible. How fast? Join my mentorship group. I will tell you. How to do it? Join my mentorship group. I will tell you. But this is too slow. That's definitely too slow. Okay, let's go back here so I can do other tests. Obviously, people will come up here with more stuff like that. And let's see what else we got here. Go up to the top. There we go, Mike. Sorry, it's moving. It's blocking the view. So, tell you what, I will move this guy over. I'll make myself smaller. Yeah, I think that should help out. Mike asks, Josh, should we fill the meta descriptions with secondary keywords while still making sense, or more of a natural call to action? That's an interesting question, Mike. It depends on who you ask. In my mentorship group, I would give different advice. So the meta description definitely should have a call to action in it. It's a balance between the two. So again, that's information that I normally wouldn't give away for free. Exactly what you would do in there. There's a whole set of, there's 4 different types of keywords, and there's about 20 different places or so they need to go. And there's different types, and it works different ways for different areas. That's how on-page is working these days. What exactly the 4 types of keywords are, and how you would find them, and where you would put them. Sadly, I have to keep for my mentorship group students who are paying me the money to tell them all the secrets. So if you want to know, I'd love to tell you. Just email me or join my mentorship group at secretseo.group. If you're already a member of the mentorship group, ask me in our Discord channel. We have a Discord channel for the mentorship group, which is fantastic, by the way. For those of you who have never tried Discord, you can pin posts, and you can have it. The search feature works. Yay, it's way better than Skype. I should have moved to it. It should have been the first thing I did instead of a Skype group. Yeah, so Jigvito just says, yes, that's affiliate links. Okay. It's interesting, it said ads by Amazon. Did you put that in there, or did they put that in there? That's interesting. I've never seen that. You see custom native Amazon ads. Interesting. I've never seen that. Ryan gives me a site here. Okay, so I'll take a look at Ryan's site. Guys, get your sites in here. I'd love to take a look. Give me more information. Tell me what your best pages are that you're trying to rank for. I'll give you as much free help as I can. So let's take a look at this one here. No, I don't want that. I don't want this. Let's go back here to home care. Grandma. Granny's here. Okay. So, okay. So this fella is in my mentorship group because we were talking about this earlier today. It's not secure. It's HTTP. So let's take a look at speed here. So again, Ryan, I have to tailor what I say. So obviously I'll give you the full scope of my suggestions on the mentorship group. But interestingly, you notice when I move things around how it looks. That might be an issue for people with smaller browsers. And keep in mind, given that I'm assuming you're targeting seniors, they're not the most tech-savvy people, and they don't always have the most new technology. So that could be kind of an issue going on here. You could very well have a grandma who has their monitor size this big, and then things are not going to work for grandma. So you definitely want to take a look at that. Also, as I said to you earlier today, this is very hard to read in the white hair of the nice grandma here. So you might want to put a black background around these so that they can be seen. Also, I noticed you have a blog and information when I believe this is a local play we discussed earlier. That technology is interesting, how she moves when it scrolls. That might impress some people. These are great photos, by the way. I didn't mention. Ryan here, Beth, they all look very happy and friendly. And that goes a long way. Like, don't underestimate that. That goes a very long way, especially for this clientele who might be a little afraid, a little leery about online in general and spending any money here in particular. the fact that you guys look really super friendly and really super nice, that's a super big feather in your cap. Kudos for that. You're offering the services. This is a long sales letter. This is what we call a long sales letter in the business. It's you read down a lot. You meet the people. You read the testimonials. You read about the services. You read the reasons why they should get there, and then they finally fill in the form. The form is a little long for my tastes. This form should be email go. That's what it should be, right? It should be email go. It shouldn't be 80 million different forms. You will lose people filling it out just because there's so many fields here. It should just be, please fill in your email or your phone number. And these people probably want to talk to you on the phone. Your demographic probably wants to talk on the phone completely. So I would recommend making that phone number bigger and bolder, and that's what should be the thing that is always front and center in their face. Maybe on a top bar, on a sidebar, on a bottom bar, that's always there so they can always call you, so they notice it's always there. Your aging demographic here probably wants to call you on the phone more than likely. Here's another thing that's just a pet peeve of mine. You are saying here that, obviously you're saying the truth here. I have every belief that you guys are a great, upstanding business, and you're saying that you are not going to use dishonest, immoral, or unethical tactics. The problem is that whenever you mention you're not going to use dishonest, immoral, or unethical tactics, that turns some people off because it makes them think that you don't even want that idea to float into their head. You don't even want that idea to float in their head. You might want to say here that you use only the most upstanding of tactics. Or that just there's no pressure and no barrage of calls. You just want to say this maybe. There's no pressure and no barrage of calls. That's all you want to say. You probably don't want to say any of this. Even if the rest of the industry does this, and even if you really want to differentiate yourself from the rest of the industry saying, hey, I don't do this. We're the good guys. Just even saying it probably is not helping your brand. That's just my personal opinion. I don't have any scientific proof to back that up. I could find it. I'm sure social psychology has done tests on this. I still have my academic credentials with York University. I could possibly look through the journals to see if anybody has has done an actual test on this. But my gut instinct is you probably just want to say this. There's no pressure, no barrage of calls. That's probably as far as you want to take saying that. Interesting. The testing completed but failed. Whoa, I've never seen that before. That could very well be a problem. Let's rerun that. That was weird. Okay, and so is this your major ranking page? You seem to be going for Minute Woman home health care services, and home care for seniors. What is your main keyword here? Keywords matter. I don't know what you're going for here mostly. You have different services here. Let's just look at live-in care. Is this for a particular area? Is this local, or is this for Lexington itself? I guess it is, because you've got to be local. I only imagine to you only have local services. I could only imagine. So let me check here to see if Ryan says anything else here. You target adult children. Yes. I provide geriatric care to my parents. They rent. I have a suite in my house, which is not uncommon for where I live, Victoria. And they rent our first level suite, and I'm helping provide geriatric care for them. They're in their 70s, late 70s, and late 60s, early 80s maybe even. I can't remember how old my dad is. I know what you mean by targeting adult children. Brian says, would it be better to say you're looking out for their best interest? Yeah, I think. Ryan says the greater Boston area. Okay, is that close to Lexington? I guess it is. So if it's a local play, then when we get back to this page over here, we definitely want, okay, if you're trying to rank in a local area, there should be live-in care Boston MA, right? If that's the search you're trying to rank for, then that should definitely be in there. We need to talk about Boston in this page. If that's what we want to rank for, does the word Boston ever appear here? No. So that's not, you're not going to rank for it, right? The word Boston is not in this page anywhere. You're not going to rank for it anywhere. On this page, the map pack strategy is different than the information strategy. In the course tomorrow, I'll probably be going over some local stuff if I have time. I'm going to go over to the course tomorrow for those of you who are in my mentorship group or not, or maybe want to just join for the course. Tomorrow I'm going about how to run your own SEO agency, how to serve clients, how I would do client expectation management, that kind of a thing. All my tips and tricks for years and years of doing consulting services. And I've been doing that even longer in SEO. Because I did websites before SEO, before I specialized in SEO. And also maybe how to do some local SEO. So the map pack strategy is different than the information strategy. Don't forget that. Did we get another error here? We got another error. Well, that's not good. Whatever this is, you want to fix it. Just so you can run a speed test, but that also is not a good sign. Whenever an SEO sees an error that could affect Google, they're always going to say to fix it. So the ASCII codec can't encode character, this character in position 7. There's something wrong with your ASCII code or your code that you're saying in the page. Let me take a look here. Well, this is easy to read. So this is too hard for me just to eyeball, but you say you're using the UTF character set. So I don't know what's going on here and where the error might be coming from. You might need a programmer to help you with this. You would find a programmer who could help you with this, probably on Upwork. And what I would do is I would take this error and I would say, I paste that in Upwork, and I would say, I need a programmer to help me fix this in my web page, and then put your web page there. And then anyone who applies to the job, offer a flat fee of, I don't know, $100 USD. And probably in a space of 5 days, you'll have somebody say, I know what the problem is, I'll fix it for you. And then you put the money in escrow, they fix it, you give them the money. So that's how I would handle that problem. Boom, bang, done. That should get fixed. So that's a whole bunch of information there for Ryan. Let's see what else we have here. Mark Whiffen says, can you talk about the ghost update or whatever hit dmv.org, medicare.com, irs.com in January, February? Any takeaways for us? I don't talk about the industry's updates naming because they don't know what they're talking about and it doesn't really help or do anything. But let me click this link. Hopefully it is a... okay. Suspected Google manual penalty. Yeah. I wonder what they lost on. Tax return form. And... so IRS.com was not an official government agency site. Is that what I'm reading correctly here? Banks.com, Bikini.com, Share.com, and Vegas.com. They're owned by some private... seems like that site, IRS.com, was owned by some private company and not by the IRS, the actual Internal Revenue Services, or whatever they're called for the U.S. So yeah, and I guess you're asking because you fell on the same date, I don't know why you're asking that. So Ryan, if you fell on the same date, unless you're running a big site like that, I don't think this is the issue. The problem there is that they roll out multiple updates at once. And so even if those sites got hit, and even if they were hit because Google decided to hit them because they're kind of fake news, Google has been combating fake news a lot ever since the whole Trump debacle and the Russia debacle. And so Google has got a number of interesting kind of anti-fake news algorithms that I've actually been tracking in a different way for a different reason. So that could be part of the problem for them, but it doesn't mean that it has anything to do with why your site was hit at that time. You should give me your site, and I should take a look at that. All of these updates are relevance updates. Google said they're relevance updates. Relevance breaks down into two things. Just imagine in your head, what are all the things that makes a page relevant for a search query? Maybe what it says on the page. Maybe it being high quality. Maybe it answering the user intent. I'll use Chase's term, user intent, answering the user intent. Maybe, things like that. And so we have a process in our mentorship group that is based on science and proven by science. The examples of that were floating by as I was talking of go to bit.ly/SEO proof if you want to see more. And so obviously in there I could explain to you more, and we can go through the whole process and get your site back. I'm assuming you're asking for your own site. If you're not, then if you're asking me, do you know what hit them? The answer is nope. I have no idea. No one has any idea. No one can have an idea. It would be all speculation anyway. Without scientific testing, it's all speculation. You shouldn't listen to a second of it. Okay, Javija says, yes, that's my site. Yes, he was trying to rank Keurig 1 versus Keurig 2. So let's just take a quick look here. I want to see, when I search this, okay, so SoapWorks doesn't give me any CPC information on this. It doesn't have any information. This does not look like a good keyword to try and rank for. I don't know why you're trying to rank for it. Or you're trying to rank for something like this instead? Is this got any information from SERPworks? SERPworks doesn't have any information about this either. And just to make sure SERPworks is working, it's giving me data, so it's working. So I'm logged in. So these are not the good keywords you want to be going for. These are not helping you in any way, shape, or form. You need to do keyword research to find out what keywords you should be going for. That's not even a keyword you want to go for to begin with. If you're not targeting keywords properly, you can't expect to rank. Okay, Mike Calvin says, for SEO, should affiliate links be cloaked with something like pretty links? No, you don't need to do that. You could do that, but you don't need to do that. We've done some testing there. Javidovic says, the white space in right sidebar was my AdSense banner. Okay, well, again, if you're going to remove that, I would recommend fixing it. It's not a big deal. It's just a little thing. Chase Reiner SEO says, what are you doing? I don't know, Chase. What are you referring to? Travis Hickok says, works like normal here in Illinois. I don't know what he's referring to. Chase Reiner says, I didn't even know there was an information modifier. I rest my case. Last night I heard Google Assistant was acting wacky. Okay. Javuja says, if I add ads in early spots in article, visitors will go after a few seconds, and for my logic, that's not good. New owner moves site on other hosting. Okay, well, instead of going on your logic, maybe you should go by scientific testing. Scientific testing says otherwise from your opinion. Or maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe scientific testing backs up your opinion. The problem is you'll never know until you do the scientific testing. You can't go based on your opinion. You can't go based on my opinion, Chase's opinion, anybody's opinion, because opinions are just like assholes. Everybody got one, but they don't help you at all in this regard. And you just get covered in poo. So you need to do scientific testing to know whether or not dwell time is what you're referring to is actually a ranking factor or not. And I know the answer, and my mentorship group knows the answer. So that's where you could get some help. Here's the question I hear all the time. If you're so good, why not create sites and make millions from SEO? Who says I haven't? I made a documentary called Don't Be Evil, Google's Secret War. That cost almost $500,000 to make. That was paid for by SEO. So there you go. Chris Palmer says, All Wayne Gray, go F yourself. I don't know who All Wayne Gray is. Oh, the person above hand. Yeah, okay. I'll put that in there. Thank you, Chris. I agree. But guys, that's not even, like, I'm speaking to everybody now, including the haters. That's not even the best thing to be asking me. Like a person making millions from SEO is not necessarily an indication of how good an SEO they are. I mean, obviously there's some kind of quality they must have there to be able to rank sites, you would imagine. But let me tell you, being an in-house SEO in some departments of some places is way easier than being an SEO who's making affiliate sites, right? And making affiliate sites is a full-time job. You really got to know the right affiliate people. You got to hang out with them. You got to go to the conferences in Vegas. You got to know what the new great product is. You have to know affiliate companies that are going to pay out. I was making a lot of money from affiliate marketing. I was making 20 grand to 40 grand a month from affiliate marketing. And you know what happened? That affiliate company just decided to drop my site because they didn't want to pay me any more money. And my social person is so good at social, people thought then and still think now that our social presence on Facebook was the official social presence. And so we were just getting all this traffic. They were making less money overall because our affiliate sales were doing so well. Our marketing sales were doing so well that they weren't selling on their own website. We were selling for them. And so basically they had hired me as a salesperson and didn't want to pay me a percentage. They wanted to get rid of me so everyone would go back to their site to buy. So you can't trust affiliate companies. It's really hard to find good ones. And for example, no offense, no offense, I don't know your name because JYCVG, I have no idea should I call you JY? No offense, JY, but Amazon is a terrible thing to be an affiliate for. Like, what's the commission? Like 10 cents on those coffee things? You'd have to get 10,000, you'd have to run 10 sites and rank 10 sites on spot one, page one to make anywhere from 3 to 5 grand. Like, you know how much work it is to make and rank 10 sites? That is a full-time job for a team of 4 people. It's not worth the money. Not for me here where I live in one of the most expensive cities in one of the most expensive parts of the world. If I was an Indian fella, or if I was, God bless them, or if I was a Filipino fella, then that starts to make sense. Then I can run affiliate sites because I can have a team of 4 or 5 of my friends running affiliate sites, and the 3 to 10 grand we make a month is good money at that point when you're living in a much a more cost-effective place in the world to live. So it's not even the question to be asking me, Alwayne, to notice I'm a good SEO. The question you should be asking me, and the question all of you should be asking me, and the question all of you should be asking every other SEO out there is, what is your proof? What is your proof? That is the most important question. Why? How is it you've come to these recommendations? What scientific proof do you have that I should believe you and listen? That is the most important question you should be asking me. Do you go to your medical doctor and say, yeah, well, you could be working at Mayo Clinic. Why should I listen to you? That's not what you tell your effing general practitioner doctor. That's not what you ask them. You say, you went to school for this, right? You have a degree on the wall, and that degree was based on scientific testing, right? You are a licensed medical doctor. They say, yes. That's what you ask them. You ask them what the basis of their scientific proofs are. Not, well, if you're so good, why aren't you a sports doctor for basketball people making millions a year? That's not what you effing ask them, right? You ask them, what is the basis of the science for your recommendations? And they push their glasses up on their nose, so they're looking at their clipboard, and they go, oh, well, I did my medical doctorate at this university, and here's the scientific tests on the skin condition you asked me about. You can go read it yourself in the journals. Here you go. The science is what's important, not whether I'm making millions. And you know what? A little secret, Alex Becker and Chase Reiner and all these other people who are bragging about the money they make, they're not very good SEOs. They're much better marketers. And they're not just making money from SEO. Actually, they're making money from selling a dream. That's what they do. I sell SEO based on science. They're selling a dream based on a dream. And you know what happens with that? They get money and then they F off. They're con men. They're snake oil salesmen, and they're going to leave. And so you're asking the total wrong question. BuyIT asks, hello, let's say my targeted keyword is red apple on my site. I have only one page about red apples. My competitor has more pages like red apples online, red apples comparison, and so on. Is it better to have more pages basically on the same keyword like my It's very interesting you should ask that by IT. Let me ask you, how well do those pages rank for your competitors? And do you watch how they cycle every day? How those pages will A/B test every day? That's what I would recommend you take a look at. Our mentorship group has done significant testing, single variable, isolated variable, scientific testing in this regard, and we have a definitive proven answer to this question. I'd love to share it with you. Please join my mentorship group. Ryan says, would it be better to say you're looking out for their best interest? Yeah. Ryan says he's 5 miles west of Boston in the suburbs. Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to rank for Boston, you got to say Boston, though. It doesn't matter where you're located. Travis says, hey, Ryan, console says it can't find your web fonts. Mark says, yeah, this is something totally different. These sites have been battling lawsuits for years. So it looks like Google finally got pressure to hit them. He's talking about the irs.com site that was a private site. Yeah, I would, that totally makes sense. I mean, Google's like that, of course. You know, anything, you know, steroids or turbulus turistis or guns or anything vaguely on the periphery or that makes any waves whatsoever, Google will drop in a heartbeat. Anything that looks like it's private or shady or sinistry, Google will try and drop in a heartbeat. For example, if I want to run ads, I don't know if you guys know this, if you want to run Google ads to videos, there can't be any profanity or swearing in them whatsoever. So, for example, sadly, I did cuss a little bit on this video. My apologies for those of you who didn't like that. I'm going to have to bleep those out if I want to run ads to this video, for example. So, so Google's like that, and I definitely think that probably had something to do with I wouldn't be at all surprised if it had something to do with it. Ryan says the group was worth it. Come join. And then he misspells come and then spells it COME underneath. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for the advertisement. Yes, join the group. It is definitely worth it. Look at Bitly. Don't believe me. Don't believe my word for it. Don't believe anybody's word for it. Stop believing all these SEO pundits on YouTube. Say, show me the proof. Like Tom Cruise, except not screaming, show me the money. Show me the proof. Bitly/SEO proof is the best proof I can offer you of the final results we can give you without sharing the experiments to which you're paying to get access to. And then know that I'm basing all my recommendations off these experiments that I show you every week. We have a test meeting every week, and I show you all the experiments we did, and I show you the results. So you know for a fact what the ranking factors are. Not you know what so-and-so said a ranking factor is. That's not a fact. That's like asking astrologers astronomy questions. That's like asking fortune tellers science questions. You're asking the wrong people. You're asking the wrong questions. So by all means, join the group. Go to secretseo.guru or email me. Mark says Medicare.com obviously is so eHealth can get all the direct type of traffic Medicare.gov should receive, etc. Yeah, so there's a confusion there. There's a confusion there, and that's why they dropped those sites. And it was manual, probably. It was manual and had nothing to do with if your site was hit at that time. JY says, that is great keyword. Okay, I don't know why it's a great keyword. I'm assuming you're talking about Keurig 1 versus Keurig 2. And then they say, there are no tool that can measure how much something people looking in Google. Huh? JY, I'm sorry, but there is a number of tools, a whole bunch of them, that can tell you what people are looking at in Google. Google AdWords Keyword Planner is a good one. Google Trends is another. SEMrush is another. That's not Google, but if you can't use Google, use SEMrush for keyword research. So, sorry. Now, you might be saying that you think Keurig 1 versus Keurig 2 has a really good, it's very interesting for users. Fair enough. That could very well be the case. I would need to look at your Hotjar data or your Crazy Egg data to see how well users actually use it and if they convert on that page. And if it's a major converting page for you, fine, that's great. But the trick is to have a major converting page that's also a major ranking page. There's no, it doesn't help you as much to have a major converting page that never gets any traffic to it unless you pay for the traffic. And if that's your play, then fine. If you're doing paid traffic to converting, as long as you're making your margins, brother, good for you. Of course, I have nothing wrong with that. But the issue is you don't want just a major converting page. You want a major ranking page as well. It's going to be a major ranking page and also a major converting page. David gives me a new site. Okie dokie. I will take a look. Hopefully it's not a porn site when I click on it. I don't have to edit this video as well. Black Fox. No, it's got a neat thing on the top here. The world's best red dot site. Okay, so it's some kind of site, obviously, a laser sight for guns, it looks like. Speaking of guns, or for binoculars. Okay, fantastic. I like that. Neato. Okay, so what can I find with this site here? Well, let's plug this right in here to the speed we got going on here. Check that. All right. So let's see, binoculars. Let's look at what I'm assuming is your main product, Aimpoint. So it's a category page. There's a whole bunch of different ones. It's obviously British because I see pounds listed here. Wow, they're expensive. £600. So this is obviously a nice piece of kit. This is obviously a higher level kind of item here. Cool, interesting. I would like to take that and go hiking, and because where I live, Ryan will attest, he lives 2 hours north of me, you can see a whole lot of bald eagles and cougars and birds and all different kinds of flora and fauna around here. That'd be fun to go look at. I don't hunt anymore because I'm just lazy. And having to clean the kill you shoot is a waste of time and effort. I can just go to the store and buy it if I want. Anyway, that's an aside. So let me see here. So we got Aimpoint, rifle scopes, Aimpoint. So I like the keyword context here in the URL string. The fact that you have index.php is not helping in the URL string. Black Fox Optics, I like that you have quasi-related keywords in your domain name, which is also your brand name. If I search your brand name, you come up first. That's a great thing. That's fantastic. I like that that is the case. It would be a problem if you didn't come up first, for sure. SERPworks is not giving me data right now for some reason. And if I search your keyword, search your main domain name, do I see any bad press about you? You definitely don't want to see any bad press about you. Nope. I see no bad press. So that's another good thing as well. That's something you could check. Let's see if Google has any indexing problems with this as far as I can tell. It's missing the HTTPS. Why is it doing that? Although it shows it. This is a weird bug error. Like, clearly this is a problem. This is a weird bug. I don't know why it's doing that. But your comes up first. Again, this info query that is been a staple in SEO for 20 years. And any seasoned professional SEO will know about it. Usually doesn't behave this way. All right, the speed we got going on here. Again, the first byte, start render is atrocious. So this you gotta fix this. This is probably going to be an issue here. When this first interactive is another issue here. You want this to be as fast as possible. You definitely want to... Oh, SERPworks has crashed. No wonder I couldn't get the information from it. You definitely want to be fixing these kinds of issues right here. To do that, you need to click here and see what is actually holding you up. First off, your first HTML page is too big. It took a whole second to download here. This is too big. You have too many CSS files, too many JS files. You need to reduce the CSS and JS files. You don't need that many CSS and JS files. This shows that your designer needs to remember that speed is important too, or needs to be told that speed is important now. Ever since July of last year, Google is awarding direct ranking bonuses for speed. And you don't need to join my mentorship group to know that. Google admitted it. So How good speed is, we know because we've scientifically tested it. But the fact that it is a ranking factor or boost, I don't have to keep it secret because Google's already admitted that. Look at all these JS and CSS. I mean, look at it. It's all the way down to here. From all the way up here to all the way down, it's a full page of it. That is way, 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 way too much, my friend. Way, way, way too much. Let's actually give you a signal here. Okay, so in terms of the conversions, I'd like to know what the conversions are here. I'd like to know what they click. I'd like to know if they're clicking where they should be clicking. Let's click on this one here. It looks neat. If I click on this, I get a picture. Okay. If I click on this, I can add to cart. I have to click on this to get a description. Okay, so here's the description. That might be hard for people to figure out. I can pay with PayPal. Great. I can add it to cart. I like the breadcrumbs here. These could be useful. This will go to here. This last one is not initiated though. There isn't a write-up. There's no sales value propositions here. There's no reason why I should buy. There's no one talking at me here telling me how great this is and give me the pros and cons or give me all the pros. Sales is a simple psychological process where you have to make them feel more positive about paying this rather large price than not. The picture says 1,000 words. The picture looks really cool. It looks like a really cool piece of tech, a really cool piece of kit. So that's working for you. But where's the description? Oh, it's down here where people are not going to see it. The description needs to be up here. The sales value propositions and the picture and the price and the conversion button all needs to be in the same glance. It needs to be all in the same area, or people are not going to buy as much. There is social psychological science to prove that's the case. You don't have to join my mentorship group to find it. You can check any journals, social psychological journals that are based on marketing. So those are my recommendations there. What are your, I like you got the all rights reserved in the title tag. That's great. Aimpoint, I guess, is your brand or their brand, someone's brand. Fantastic. You're putting it in there. And that's what you're assuming. I'm assuming you want to rank for that. Aimpoint H34L2-MOA dot. If that's what you want to rank for, great. I don't know what your keywords are. I notice you have a double up here. I'm not saying whether that's good or bad. Join my mentorship group for more information, but that's some good, I think off the top of my head information there. If you have any more, questions, please put them down here. If there's any more stuff I can help you with, let me know. Put them down there. David Fruenberg says, speaking the truth. If you're referring to me, I appreciate it. And I don't know why I have to pitch this so hard. Everybody in the world knows that science runs the world. I mean, in terms of technological prowess. If you wanted to, if there was a competition to build a robot, and there was a bunch of astrologers who knew nothing about science and engineering, and then there was science and engineering students, which one do you bet is going to build the robot better? The science engineering students, right? That's exactly what the SEO industry is. If you're going to have an SEO competition, and who do you think is going to be able to rank sites better? The scientists, the science and engineering students, the students of SEO science, not the astrologers who are making wild guesses as to what the ranking factors are. I don't know why everyone gets so offended by that, just because they're too lazy to do scientific tests. The easy solution is to go, okay, I'll do scientific tests. And that's the next phase of SEO culture we're in, where there's a lot of people now who claim to do scientific testing, and now, sadly, the onus is now on the watcher, on you guys, for you to determine how good their science is and how stringent their science is. That's what you guys got to do now. You got to look at their scientific tests and go, that doesn't prove anything. What? That's a bullshit scientific test. Or, how well did they isolate the variables? How well did they account for the variables? That's the main thing. That's all you need to ask yourself. How well did they isolate all the variables? And how well did they account for all the variables? And did it prove what it says they think they proved? Did they isolate all the variables so that the only thing left could be X and Y, the cause and the result? Or as close to that as you think they could possibly get. And let me tell you, in the field tests are not good enough for that. There are tons of variables going on that you don't know about. Google has told you so. So in the field tests are not good enough. They need to be single variable tests. How do you do that properly? That's a proprietary secret that's actually quite complex. If you join my mentorship group, I can tell you quite a bit about it. And maybe you could run your own tests if you want at that point. NMR 2000 something says Becker is a clown. I agree. He's a rich clown because a lot of people love the dream. That's how they sell. They sell the dream. I'm trying to sell science. I'm trying to sell truth. That's not a dream. It's a dream for me that everyone would believe in it, but it's not a dream. They're selling the dream, and people like the dream over science because science is hard, ranking is hard, that kind of thing. Uh-oh, I scrolled down. Oh, no. Okay. JY says, what type of sites do you suggest that webmasters make, if not Amazon affiliate sites? That's a great question, JY. So it depends where you live. If you live in a third world country, Amazon will be perfectly fine for you. Because the commissions are low and you're only going to make like $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000-5,000 a month tops, maybe if that. If you have like 10 to 100,000 visitors a month, and it'll be hard to maintain that traffic and those rankings as well against Amazon and everybody else and their dog and their horse trying to outrank you. But at least the effort, the amazing and tremendous amount of effort you need to spend to rank that well, at least the commissions you'll be getting are commensurate to your living standards of what you need, of the money you need from US dollars to whatever else. If you're living in the West, like in Victoria, I could never, ever, it's so bloody expensive here. I could never, ever make a living, even if I ranked 10 Amazon affiliate sites, page 1, I would barely make enough I wouldn't even be able to pay my mortgage here. So it's not the same. NMR says 62K in a day. I don't know what you're referring to, but if that's what you made, great. Oh, yes, Becker sells courses on e-commerce and SEO he's never done himself. Yeah, he's a great salesman. That's what he is. He's the Tony Robbins of SEO. He sells a dream. He sells a dream very well. Does he know how to do SEO? No. Should you listen to him? No. Is it a scam? Yes, it's mostly a scam. Unless those guys are doing science, and I've never heard them say they are, then it's a scam, and you shouldn't pay any attention to that. Because you can't trust it. You should be asking, how did they isolate their variables? What scientific tests did they do? It's the first thing you should ask. Any other show on here, what scientific, okay, you say you do scientific testing, great. How did you isolate the variables? How did you account for the variables? What kind of testing did you do? That's the first thing you should ask. To ask me that, sadly, I can tell you a little bit about it, but you have to enter my paywall for me to tell you because all those testing secrets for me are proprietary. I save those for my paying students. It would be unfair for me to just release it for free when I have students paying me for it. But I have it. The best proof I can give you, again, is bit.ly SEO proof. No one even has that. Ask Becker for his bit.ly/SEO proof. He can't even provide that. He'll provide you a fancy PowerPoint with a case study of graphs that could totally have been changed. David says, David buys houses, Florida.com. All right, let me take a look at this. Darren says, what's up, y'all? Yo, what up, Darren? Let me go back here, put this in here. Let me search it first. Search this, boom. It is an HTTPS. David buys houses with a fair cash offer, fantastic. David could Twitch himself. There's a lot of house buying shows. Maybe he could find an audience on Twitch or YouTube or something. Okay, so we're running the test there. All right, so we buy houses Florida, sell my house fast, trying to rank for 2 different keywords on the same page. Not a good idea. Every page should be based on a keyword. We got, again, multiple, we have multiple fields to fill in here. That's going to reduce the amount of people filling them in. I would rather just have email go or phone number go. You have a call down here. If they're reading, they're going to see that. If they're not reading, they're not going to see it. I'd love to see your hot jar of how people actually are reading this and using this. Okay, so let's look at an actual area. So again, we have a big hero image. Sell my house fast, Brandon, Florida, cash offer. Then we have text. Not a lot of text. Oh, here it is down here. So this is probably a kind of doorway page for all the different pages. Again, blog. Again, not going to help you. This is probably trying to rank for sell my house fast. Cash for your house. Sell my house fast. Brandon. So that's probably the keyword you're going for there. So, I mean, again, I want to look at the Hotjar to see how well this is doing. Again, the basic thing I can say from here is too many fields. Let's look at the test here. Oh, your speed test did better. Still, start render is too high, and the first interactive is too high. That needs to get lower. How you would get lower, and to what level you need to get, I would be sharing in the mentorship group. But here I see all the standard errors, issues, CSS, JS, Google Fonts, that kind of a problem. So that's standard stuff. Again, if you have any more specific questions, ask them in the chat. NOR says, Chase tries to call people out for being black hats. Then go look at the sites he brags about he's ranked. Exact match domains with spam and GMB listings with exact match titles. I hate the frauds in the industry that make all their money from selling horses. And then he says, I'm done, guys. Josh just had me fired up for a minute. I don't blame you at all, NMR. I agree. It gets me fired up too. There are a lot of snake oil salesmen in the industry. Sadly, a lot of us who are trying to preach the SEO gospel of science are considered to be haters. And if I ever go onto a forum and I say, what test do you have to prove that? I'm going to get 10 people come back to me to say, that's not where we talk about testing or whatever, blah, 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 blah. So it's tough. We're living in a social media world where everybody has post-traumatic stress disorder from all the trolls. And so as soon as you say anything that's even just a general question and it's not meant to be trolly at all, it's an honest question. What evidence do you have? Why should I believe you? It's an honest question that anybody should be asked. Why do I believe you? Why should I believe you? What proof do you have of this? The snake oil salesmen are getting pissed off because they don't have any proof, and they're going, and then they're going to call you a hater or whatever. And then their followers are getting pissed off because they don't want to. They have what's the word I'm looking for? It slipped out of my head, but they've got buyer's remorse, right? They don't want to look a fool for following the snake oil salesman, and so they're going to pretend like the snake oil salesman doesn't need scientific evidence when they do. So don't fall into that, guys. Maybe you like Chase. Maybe you like other people, other shows that claim to have science, and you're feeling bad because I've been slagging them off. Don't get your emotions involved at all. What you guys should be doing is asking us, me, them, everybody. You should be asking, what is your evidence for why you believe this? Why should I believe you? What is your proof? How did you isolate the variables in that proof? Don't use the word science if it becomes a bad word. Sadly, science should never be a bad word. It should always be a good word. And you gotta ask them, because it's only your money at stake. It's your money at stake. It's your livelihood at stake. I don't know why people are letting trolls dominate their life and changing things like that. It really is too bad. JY says he wants to debate with me. Even Google Planner is not so correct. What you say about all their tools, just compare Search Console keywords and tools that measure keyword volume. You could find so much good volume keywords that have zero volume. If they don't have any traffic, I'm sorry, I don't see how they're good keywords. I think what you're saying is, I see, yeah, something funny Darren said. I think what you're saying is that in Search Console, you're going to get searches for that. And the volume is not zero, even though Google AdWords Keyword Planner says it's zero. Yeah, fine. And you might be like, this is my approach, Josh. I don't know how to rank for the big keywords, so I'm going to choose, and this is not a slight in any way. I'm not trolling you in any way. But you're going to choose what's kind of like a bottom feeder method, where you're going to go for keywords that are so easy competition, or it's also called a low-hanging fruit method. You're going to go for keywords that are so low competition, they don't even register on SEMrush. They don't even register on Google AdWords Keyword Planner. Hey, that's fine. That's not a problem per se. And definitely, I've used that method before. And you can use that method. And that's, where you can start filling out your blog with every page is a ranking page, but you're going for keywords that are so low that it's really easy to win for. That's okay. But why not use science to rank for pages that have huge traffic? And why not use science to rank for pages that make huge money? That's what we do in the mentorship group. Mixmaster says, please tell some high-quality backlink methods. I wish I could. Our mentorship group has such good testing for backlinks. We've found super secret, super crazy ways of improving backlink power by plus 3 to 5 spots. And so I wish I could share them. My students get this information. Our backlinks are just sing, and they're super cheap and super powerful. We know exactly how to do it. Please join my mentorship group. I'd love to share the information with you. Darren says, I can see a lot of cougars in Florida. I don't know if that's the kind of cougars we're talking about, Darren. I was talking about like the kind with the fur, not the other kind. Although you can see a lot of those in Victoria too. David says they're aimed at target shooters mainly. I see. Okay, so it's like a sport shooting kind of thing. Cool. Yeah. So if you have any other suggestions or questions about your site, please let me know. I'll comment. I'll be on here for another couple minutes here. JY says, and if that article have few good backlinks, that article would get great traffic, not just for Keurig 1 versus 2. Yeah, but that's the inefficient way of doing it. We're doing search engine optimization. We're not doing search engine guessing, and we're not doing search engine inefficient. It's SEO. Optimization means you're doing it the optimal way to get the optimal result. Again, that's like a low-hanging fruit method, which is like a spray and pray method. He goes on to say, I use keyword everywhere, SEMrush, SERP stats, and all the tools. Yeah, but those tools are never as good as Google AdWords Keyword Planner. Now, Google AdWords Keyword Planner up until now has been giving me really good SEO results. I just saw in my new ad I'm running here that it is changing, so I don't know if it's still going to be good for SEO, but it has been. So check out Google AdWords Keyword Planner for SEO up to 10 keywords. It's great. That's the best information. That's the information you want. SEMrush, Ahrefs, SERP stats, they all have secondhand information. I would go to the source first. Mark Whiffen says, and this is a valid point, I want to say. Mark Whiffen says, so non-scientists got to figure out which scientist is right? LOL, oh Lord, oh Lord. Yeah, Mark, I'm sorry. That's the way it is. Yeah. Sorry, that's just the way it is. I can't make it any easier than that. You got to figure out which scientist is right. You got to, but it's not so hard to do. This is what you ask. All right, here's the secret. Probably the best secret I'm going to give you this whole show. Here's the secret for telling whether or not the scientist knows what they're talking about. How did you isolate the variables / how did you account for all the variables? Ask that one. How did you account for all the variables? And see the answer they give you. If it does not seem perfectly logical and reasonable that they've accounted for all the variables, then don't listen, or listen to the extent that they've accounted the variables, right? In single variable testing, check back a couple weeks, last week or the week before. I did a presentation on SEO science and how the testing works. And single variable testing on a 5-page SERP at the time is and was the most powerful testing method that isolated and accounted for all the variables. So yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't make it this hard. Google did. Google made an artificial intelligence that's now choosing the ranking algorithms, and Google made it that the ranking algorithms are so complex that you need to use science to tell what's going on. So I'm sorry. It's not 2001 anymore. We've missed the internet gold mine to some degree. My students are still getting it. They're either eking out the last bit of gold in the gold mine with our scientific methods because they respect science and they respect how we do our science. And you should be asking for, how do you account for those variables? The way we account for them is we do single variable testing on garbage, gibberish SERPs that have no traffic, no links, no social, nothing else going on, and not during a major update. And when all the pages are been ranking in the same spot, they're flatlined for weeks or preferably or days. And then we make one little change and we see one little thing happen. And that's how we account for all the variables. And we've found some tricks and tips to make that even more nuanced. And so it's not what Kyle's doing. I do scientific testing unlike anybody else in the industry. Kyle inspired me to start doing this kind of testing, but I don't do the same kind of testing he does. Ours are not night and day different, but they're quite different. Like cousin to cousin different. Not even sister to sister, they're cousin to cousin different. They're quite different. I'm a few steps removed, and I like to think more stringent and better. But that's just my personal opinion. He would obviously disagree. And that's way better than leaderboard testing. That's way better than Quora, which Quora is a great tool, by the way. Everyone should have it and use it. Go to bit.ly/get-Quora to use it. But that's just doing correlation studies, right? I know I don't need to show you the diagrams here. So again, correlation studies in terms of trustworthiness are not as trustworthy as single variable experiments because they have not isolated all the variables here, right? All the variables haven't been isolated in this case, in this place here. The variables have been isolated in this place here. So that's what it is you want to go for. And they're way better than in the field observations because there's all these hidden variables that you don't know, that you haven't accounted for, that you haven't crossed off your list. On this one, we have all the variables. They're all the same, and we've crossed them all off the list. There's nothing left that could be causing the ranking boost except for the one that we implemented, the variable change that we made on a certain date at a certain time. And so that's how we know. So that's how you can tell. You just take this chart, screenshot this, and ask, how do you account for the variables? And see what the answer they give you. And come on to my show, and I'll tell you. I will help you isolate them. I will help you determine which SEO scientists are doing a good job or not. I will happily give that information away for free. I will happily do that. So come on to the show and ask me, and I will happily teach you what kind of scientific answers are verifiable answers. All right, JY asks a couple more questions, and then unless you guys have questions, you sneak in there. I'm going to be out of here. JY says, how can you isolate variables in tests when time is a factor? For example, I publish an article, and that article starts to rank after 6 to 7 months without any changes. No new content on site. You're assuming time is a factor. JY, that's your presumption. You don't have proof that time is a factor because you haven't isolated the variables. That was an in-the-field observation. Remember the number 3? There's all the variables you haven't isolated to say that time is a factor. And so time isn't necessarily a factor. The indexing could be a factor. Google changes could be a factor. The fact that users finally found your page and now are going there could be a factor. Any other number of things could be a factor there. You haven't isolated the variables, so you can't tell me time is a factor. You haven't removed all those other variables and said the only thing left is time. Time must be a factor. That's how it works. You haven't done that. So your question, how can I isolate the variables, is the wrong question to be asking because you're assuming that time is a factor when it isn't, right? That's not how science works. And last but not least, JY says, you not tell me what type of sites is better to make than Amazon affiliate site with that webmaster knowledge. Yes, I like to rank for smaller keywords because I am bad in acquiring backlinks. If you join my mentorship group, I believe you were a member at some point, if I recall correctly, or I could be wrong, but we have, or had, or still have, methods for getting backlinks that are not super hard. So I don't know why you wouldn't be acquiring them. But join the group if not, or rejoin if not. I can't remember. Sorry if I'm confusing with somebody else. And if you find what you want to do is not Amazon affiliates. You want to go for affiliates that have a much better conversion rate, that have a much higher ticket item that people want to buy much more. That's the kind of things you want to go for. The problem with Amazon affiliates is that the commissions are so low. That's the problem. Amazon will probably pay out Although they could just ditch you and there's nothing you could do. What are you going to do against the most powerful company in the world? Nothing. You're a little complaining on some forum that Amazon didn't pay out your commissions, you know, is going to fall on deaf ears. So I would pick something more middle of the road that cares about their affiliates. I would pick something that had a higher commission. I would pick something that had higher buying intent. And with the knowledge we have in our mentorship group, we can easily rank for those kinds of things. So thanks very much, folks, for paying attention. This has been a surprise SEO Hangout with Josh Bashinsky. I hope you liked it. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. I'd like to thank Chase for showing up. He's welcome on any time to debate what's going on. I always have hope that everyone will come to SEO science because it's better. That's just the way it is. I didn't make it better. It just is better. The proof is right here in front of your face, moving along. So I'd like to thank everybody. Again, there will be no show tomorrow. My next show will be Thursday of next week. Tune in again to get all the great free information that you can get. For those about to rank, we salute you. As I always say, good luck in the SERPs, and we'll see you next time.